Hey everybody, Dave Bartosiak here for another one of Dave's Daily Dives. As always, today is April 11th, and we had a very exciting session on our hands. First, I'm going to go through a few of these charts, including the S&P 500, show you the move on gold and the yen today, which was pretty incredible, as well as a big shocker in crude also, and how that related to some of the equity markets. So an interesting story today as things unfolded. We're going to go over all of those events. And then, as always, at the end, I've got 5 Zacks Rank #1 strong buy stocks that we're breaking out, and let's see how they did today. Okay, so first and foremost, I've got the S&P 500 here, and these are the E-mini futures. You can see off the open, heavy selling into the VWAP. That was a trade right there. Boom, selling the VWAP down into the lows till about 10 o'clock Central. Then the market finally found some support and pushed higher. It's interesting how often this has worked. This time we went well below the Globex lows, though. Typically what we've seen happen is, the market just kind of comes down a few ticks below the Globex lows and then goes higher. Now it's really starting to test this bottom end, really trying to feel its way down there before it ends up finding a reversal point. And here we've got our longer term picture of the S&P 500 where we drew those Fibonacci retracement levels, and we can see how we've been bouncing within this range. Range bound is going to be the phrase that pays, my friends. We can translate that over to a number of the other indexes. First, the Russell. Of course, this was the main beneficiary of the MAGA trade, and it has been chop city here on the Russell. Lots of choppy movement back and forth. Let's look and see at today's action what ended up happening, and it's going to look pretty similar to the chart you saw on the S&P, although the strength was a little bit more sustained here for the Russell, broke through highs and continued to tick higher. So a little bit more strength in the small caps than you saw in the large caps of the S&P 500. This is going to bring me to what I think was the coolest move today, and that was gold. This bad boy started early, 7 o'clock in the morning, Chicago time, 12:59, and just does not look back until it crushes new highs. 1276 came pulled back a little bit. This line that I have here is the high from a few days ago, which I can show on the daily chart when we zoom back out there, and really just found support there and went higher. Still going higher pretty much. Here we are, 3:11 Chicago time. That move was pretty much mirrored in the yen, with the yen strengthening considerably against the dollar. If that seems like a head scratcher at first glance, that is risk off, my friends. That's what that's telling you, is risk off. And if you look at the 10-year Treasury note, you'll also see quite a bit of risk off behavior was taking place here in the 10-year. So with this 10-year rallying, this means yields came down today, risk off sort of across the board. I want to go back briefly on this gold trade and zoom out to the daily bars so you can see the move that we've seen. I'm going to get rid of the drawing of that fib level so you can see this a little bit more clearly, and a pretty fierce breakout today, pushing higher, pushing past the highs of April 4th. So with conviction, my friends. Now your new targets, 13, 1340. Obviously 1300 is sort of a logical area that you'd find psychological resistance. So keep that in mind. Next stop as far as gold's concerned, after breaking out here, is, I believe, this sort of 13 area. So even north of 1300. Fierce move higher. For a while there, we looked like it was rolling over. We had this commodity channel index was a little top heavy and things were rolling over, but definitely broke through on conviction today. And like I said, range bound is going to be the name of the game, as now we've got an S&P 500 that's sort of locked into this range as well. So going to have a lot of range bound trading here, I think, over the course of the next several weeks. Keep that March 27th low in your thoughts, as well as the all-time highs of March 1st. So fully encompassed within the March price action is, I think, where we are going to be here on the S&P 500 in markets in general. So that's what happened there. Now for a few names that I found that you may like. The first of which is Aegean Marine. Okay, so they had some serious breakout action take place, getting up close to this $13 level, nearly breaking on through and pushing higher. The one thing about them today, during today's trade, they were down a little bit. Okay, so they're down about 4% today. They got back down to 14.30, so they retraced a little bit. I think buying this anywhere above 11.90, I think is good, and then you can put a stop just shy of that, so you can make it relatively tight. Hope that you catch on the next ride. And again, these are Zacks Rank #1 strong buys, so they do have a compelling underlying earnings story associated with them. Then you have one that you should all know, KB Homes, the home builder, and we're going to let this one load up. Got over 20 on a serious push since Valentine's Day, pretty much. Stock down at 16s, pushed up over 20. A little bit of a consolidation here, perhaps, 1950 to the 20s, but volume stayed kind of decent. Not too overbought in terms of the commodity channel index. Still above the zero line, confirming an uptrend, but not well above 200 or anything. Just a little bit above 100 in the past. And the 50-day moving average here provides support down at 18 and change. This is one I think you can kind of buy and hold on to for a little bit. Not worry about so much in the intermediate term, as you know, it's a housing stock. So as long as you have, you know, positive things going on in the U.S. economy in general, I think it'll be okay. Granted, obvious risk here to the home builders is going to be what's happening in the interest rate markets, right? Are people going to be out there buying up mortgages or buying up houses when their mortgage rates are starting to tick up? Now, we've been pretty spoiled here in this historical period of really low mortgage rates. People were still buying houses in the 80s when rates were much higher, so kind of keep that in mind, okay? Now, the other stock, which is similar to what was happening over there with Aegean Marine, is Triton International. So these guys do containers, okay? Specialty containers, tank containers, all of that fun stuff. And this is a stock that has obviously been breaking higher. Pretty choppy though, right? You have like kind of this surge upwards and then it retraces. A surge and a retrace, surge and a retrace. The good news is it's found support at this 50-day moving average several times along the way. And let's take a quick look at some of these surges. You know, I like to bust out my Fibonacci retracements, and you can see what some of these surges have done. So the surge in November retraced just below the 50%, found a bid, went higher. What else happened? Now we can take a look at that next step and where that went. So this next surge found support right around 50% also. So this is breaking out from the top end of that. When you're looking at something that has retraced 50% and broken to the upside, now you can use a Fibonacci extension level. So in this case, I'm going to add a price level here. Just because of the way that the math works, this is actually going to be entered as a negative something. So negative 50% is what I'm going to put on here. Go ahead, press OK, and apply, and then it gives me this price target. That's the 50% extension of the move from the late December low to the mid to late February high. So this extension is 33.98. We'll call it 34 for good measure. That gives you sort of a short-term price target. Since this is in fact a breakout, you can put a stop loss just below this, and with your target, a nice little risk versus reward there on shares of Triton International. The next one, a lot more boring, Unilever. So I don't usually get all excited about Zacks Rank #1 stocks that are, you know, in consumer staples, right? But we're talking about that here in Unilever, and it's been on a heck of a run here, breaking out in February, pushing higher. Now it's in the 50s. It looks like it might be able to sustain 50 right here. Some real bullish behavior here happening in the stock lately. Volume has been solid. It doesn't look so impressive here, but that's because you have these huge spikes here on the volume. So it kind of, you know, masks that it has been very, very decent here. So, excuse me, Unilever in the 50s, pretty solid. And again, you're still going to get paid, you know, 2.3% dividends. So nothing that spectacular, but at least you can get paid while you wait. You can put stops just below here, kind of this $49 level, as you have this swing low, providing some support so you can ride the breakout there on Unilever. Now the last one, you may know its U.S. counterpart. This is Yum China. You had the spinoff where Yum Brands spun off its Chinese unit. Now the thing for Yum Brands is a lot of the growth for them was happening in Asia. So to spin this spinoff was really a way that you can gain exposure just to that growth area, and it looks like it's worked out pretty well with a huge gap up here over 30, and now it's starting to break out to the upside. I think this is something that you can really play the Chinese growth here, the Asian growth overall, and you're getting the best parts of Yum Brands without having to get bogged down with some of the, you know, the more stale markets that they have here in the U.S. So you're getting the growth, and you're betting on KFCs and Taco Bells, right? Don't they have Taco Bell over there? Yeah, KFC, Taco Bell, Pizza Hut. Okay, the Yum China. All right, folks, so that's all I got for you here today on another one of Dave's Daily Dives. As always, be sure to follow me on Twitter at Bartosiastics. That's BARTOSIASTICS. So be sure to look for me there. I will have another one of these Dave's Daily Dives for you all tomorrow. So have a fantastic night, and I will see you then.